Hi students, welcome to A&P Science and Pharma.
Next classification is pharmacological or therapeutic classification. When you classify the drugs based on the pharmacological use or the therapeutic application, there are numerous list of pharmacological activities or therapeutic activities that is existed. So, for example, antipyretic activity, that means lowering of fever; antihypertensive activity, lowering of your higher elevated blood pressure; and cardiotonic, strengthening your heart or giving additional heart support; or laxative, it means inducing the peristaltic movements in your bowel. Okay, and anti-emetic, avoid prevention of the vomiting or treatment of the vomiting. There are various examples like for antipyretic activity, Aedes precatorius; antihypertensive activity, Rauwolfia serpentina; cardiotonic, digitalis purpurea; laxative, cassia angustifolia or cassia cutifolia, that means senna; aloe vera, you can use any other; anti-emetic, that is Epica gerardia. Okay, these are classic examples of these pharmacological activities. Apart from these pharmacological activities, we have various other pharmacological activities also. Okay, like anti-cancer activity, antibiotic activity, anti-acidic activity, like that. There are numerous activities. Okay, now the advantage of pharmacological classification is when a stranger enters into one room, he will see different baskets named after the pharmacological uses. Correct? Somebody has got fever and into one room he is coming and he is seeing antipyretic activity bucket. Okay? In the different kinds of drugs are there. Now just assume and tell me, if he takes one of the drug from that antipyretic bucket and he eats, his fever reduces or not? Of course, yes, reduces. So when I told it is Aedes precatorius, neem is there in that bucket. He is eating neem instead of Aedes precatorius. His fever is reducing or not? Neem is kept in antipyretic bucket. Neem has antipyretic activity already, and neem is kept in antipyretic bucket along with Aedes precatorius also. Now he is eating. Now what I told is I am not able to go. You go and take that particular drug from antipyretic bucket. I told you. Instead of taking Aedes precatorius, same bucket he took neem. His fever is reducing or not? Of course it is reducing. Correct? Correct. It does not depend upon what plant you are using. Since it is depending upon the pharmacological activity, you can find any other drug also as an alternative. So that is the advantage of pharmacological classification. When you don't find specific drug for specific therapeutic purpose or pharmacological activity, you can find the alternatives very easily, because the different kinds of drugs are classified based on pharmacological activity or therapeutic purpose. Different drugs will have same therapeutic purpose, does not differentiate between what part it is used. It only considers what therapeutic activity. So when you have fever, you can take any other drug apart from Aedes precatorius, which is in antipyretic classification. When you have elevated BP, you can take any other drug apart from Rauwolfia serpentina if it is in antihypertensive classification. Correct? Likewise, any other drug, see laxative, I told senna, aloe vera. You can take aloe vera also, you can take senna also, you can take banana also. Anything you can take. Correct? Digestive rates, enzymes are there. Correct? When you know the purpose of drug, whatever you are taking that is classified here, when you know the purpose of the drug, finding the alternative drug when the correct drug is not available is very easy with the therapeutic classification. Okay? Now, the disadvantage of pharmacological or therapeutic classification is it requires tremendous amount of research. For identifying what pharmacological activity it is showing, or it requires so much of long time to identify what is the therapeutic purpose of the drug. Imagine, whenever you are identifying a new drug, whenever you have discovered a new drug, you don't know what is the name, you just know the morphological characters only. So the classification of that new drug into morphological classification is easy. After that you will name it, you will put it into alphabetical classification. Correct? After that you will identify the taxonomy of the plant based on the characters and you put it into taxonomical classification. No problem. But when you have to put the drug into pharmacological classification, you must know the therapeutic activity. You have to eat the drug or you have to give the drug to somebody to eat it. Correct? Whatever harmful effects or beneficial effects, you have to monitor them. You have what activity it is showing. Then only you can put that plant into particular class of pharmacological theme. Correct? When you don't know what activity or what purpose the drug is there, you don't know where to put that drug into pharmacological or therapeutic classification. That is the major disadvantage. Understood now? So when you don't know the use of the drug, then you will put it. Don't know. Now we have another classification called as chemical classification. Okay. Based on the chemistry, based on the chemical constituents that are present in a crude drug, if you are classifying, it comes under chemical classification. That means all the crude drugs will have isolated compounds or chemical constituents inside of them. No? After identifying what kind of chemicals are there, when you classify based on that chemical constituents, it is called as chemical classification. Okay. Now, there are different kinds of chemical constituents in different kinds of crude drugs. Some crude drugs may contain different varieties of the constituents. Some crude drugs may contain same type of constituents like carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, glycosides, alkaloids, volatile oils, tannins, proteins, gums, etc. There are different kinds of chemical flavonoids, etc. etc. So, for carbohydrate containing crude drugs are rice and wheat. These are not just crude drugs. This is food. You can rewrite this as it as starch, corn starch, potato starch, rice or wheat starch. Rice and wheat as such, it does not come under a crude drug, correct? So it comes under a food. So the crude drug that is coming as a carbohydrate source from rice, potato or corn is starch. This is a crude drug. That is a drug. Okay. Now lipids like castor oil, coconut oil, you already know. Proteins, groundnuts, peas, etc. Glycosides, senna, cassia angustifolia, cassia putifolia, digitalis purpurea. Alkaloids, physostigma, jabberandi. Volatile oils, cloves, fennel, coriander, whatever volatile oils. Tannins, amla and catechol. So there are different kinds of chemical constituents that are present in crude drug. Based on what kind of chemical constituents that your crude drug is containing, if you are classifying, then it is called as chemical classification. That means if your crude drug is containing lipids, you will put that crude drug into lipid. If your crude drug is containing glycosides, you will put that crude drug into glycoside section. There are subsections also, like for example, glycosides, cardiac glycoside, steroidal glycoside, etc. Okay. For alkaloids, indole alkaloid, propane alkaloid, steroidal alkaloid, like that. Okay. In volatile oils, monoterpenes, diterpenes, sesquiterpenes, like that. There are subclassifications also. So, what kind of chemical constituents is present in your drug? Based on that, you are classifying. It is called as chemical classification. Now, what are the advantages of chemical classification? Once you know what kind of drugs or what kind of chemical constituents are present in your drug, it is very easy to classify those drugs. Very easy to put the drugs into specific category. But the disadvantage is similar to therapeutic classification. Like it requires rigorous amount of research to identify the chemical constituents present in the crude drug. It requires high throughput analysis also to identify what kind of chemical constituents are present in your crude drug. Very important. Sero-taxonomical classification means sero means protein or toxin. All the toxins are proteins, poisons, etc. kind of thing. So sero-taxonomical means few plants, few crude drugs. What happens is they will show some reactions in our body. So one particular type of plant will not show same type of activity compared to other plant. They will show different types of activities, different types of reactions. Okay, different types of poisons they contain, different types of proteins they contain because of the nature, because of the DNA nature. What kind of constituents they are producing? Based on that, they have different reactions in our body. The strange thing is, plants belonging to same taxonomical classes. Plants belonging to same taxonomical classes have shown to contain similar serum structure. Serum structure is similar protein structure. Like plants belonging to Solanaceae plants belonging to Solanaceae, they will produce propane alkaloids. Plants belonging to Solanaceae, they will produce propane alkaloids. Okay. Examples: Datura, Belladonna, Hyoscyamus. You can say Solanum also. Okay. Sero-taxonomy means classifying the plants, classifying the crude drug based on what kind of proteins or what kind of chemical constituents it is producing. And the interesting part is similar plants, that means plants belonging to same genus or same class or same family is producing similar kinds of chemical constituents. For example, plants belonging to Solanaceae are producing propane alkaloids. It is identified they are producing propane alkaloids. Examples for such plants is Datura, Belladonna, Hyoscyamus, Solanum. And there are different kinds of Solanum like Solanum tuberosum, Solanum melongena, Solanum melanoxylum. Different plants are there. It does not mean all the plants will produce same kinds of alkaloids, same kinds of chemical constituents. Okay, but generally plants belonging to similar family will produce similar kind of chemical constituents. That is the idea. But the difference will be, what is the difference between these plants is the amount of propane alkaloids or the kind of propane alkaloid will be different.